Right, we're going to look at adding images now. So let me just go ahead and put in, actually let me put in shapes before I put in images. So this is going to be your e-portfolio of work for different subjects. So we need to have some sort of navigation menu for our subjects. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that along here. So we'll have like a bar, like a navigation bar or buttons. I'm just going to click on this icon towards the bottom, or this tool. If you just hold down left click, it should actually give you different shapes that you can use to make your buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and click rounded rectangle because I quite like that. Currently the color selected is red fill with a black stroke, which is the outline. I'm fine with that for now. It's just for example's purpose. And I'm just going to go ahead and make my button shape. So there you go, that's what I'm happy with. Now I want to have a few of these buttons. I'm just going to drag this on top, because for me I just like having order. So the earliest layers are going to be towards the bottom, and then the rest are going to be added on top as we go along. So rounded rectangle 1, I'm going to actually rename this. Is going to be my first button, and it's just going to be called maths button. Just to make it simple, make sure you're naming your layers to something meaningful. So maths button is this first one, okay? And I want to make a second one and a third one and a fourth one. So I mean, like, what you wouldn't do is this, because of two reasons. A, it's going to be, you know, maybe not in the right position, so you'll have to like spend some time going up and down. So I'm just going to zoom in here. You'll have to get the position right. And the second thing is obviously the size. It's different. Obviously I've drawn it not too different, but it is actually quite different. So what I'm going to do is just delete that layer. I don't want it. So I'm going to click this and drag it into the bin. So that's how you get rid of layers. And I'm going to select maths button, or make sure that's selected, and I'm going to duplicate it. So you can right click and select duplicate layer, and it asks you to name the new button or the new duplicated layer. So I'm just going to call this English. That's what it's called. And you just don't change anything else. And there you go. So you've got English now. Oh, it's supposed to be called English button. Sorry. So let me adjust that here. So how I'm changing the name here is simply by clicking on the text. So this text here, you just double click it and it lets you edit it. So there you go. So I've got an English button made now. When you duplicate something, it puts it on top of the original actual item that you've copied. So I'll need to move it across. Now remember what I said before about using arrows, so that's what we're going to do here now. So I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm just going to press across, and we're just going to get this across, and I would just want a little bit of space in between, so I'll just do that. And then you go ahead and you do that a couple more times. So go ahead, duplicate layer. A shortcut would be Control J, then you just simply have to rename the layer, so it's not really a problem. So you do what works for you. Okay, so there you go, science. Again, oopsie, I forgot to put button at the end. Let me do that. Button. And then again, you shift it. If it's not shifting for you and you're wondering what's going on, you've got to make sure that your move tool is selected, and that's how you can actually shift across using the arrows. Otherwise, it won't know what you're trying to do. So here's the other way of duplicating a button. You simply select the button or the layer that you want to duplicate, and you press Control J on your keyboard, and it just does a copy. So I'm just going to call this ICT, obviously, and then just drag that button across. Here we go. So that's it. For now, I'm just going to have 4 buttons. You can kind of see it's kind of a bit off, a bit to the right. So I'm just going to hold down Shift, select all my buttons, and then just press Shift across. So look, you can move lots of things together, or a group of things together. So remember, you can hold down Shift and arrow, or just plain old arrow. And then you got to go ahead now and put actual words, so the names of the subjects on this. So I'm going to start with my maths button, go to text, and what's going to happen when you go over with your text tool to your button, it has like a circle around the cursor. So if you just press, it automatically like guesses the size of whatever you're trying to add text to. So it's guessed or predicted the size of my button, and it's predicted that's the size I want, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this first from 22 to maybe 10. Here we go. And then type maths, and there you go, it's appeared up there. So I'm just going to click tick, and then just click make sure that this move tool is selected before I shift and use my arrows to move this up or down or whatever. There you go, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer because you know the font and everything's already. Just duplicate it. I'm just going to move it above because this will be my English text. So I'm doing this so everything's in place and it's in line and you know it's in order. And I'm going to use my arrow key, so just drag that across now. And now to edit the text, remember how you edit text, you double click on the T and you can go ahead and edit. Okay. And then you carry on and you click tick. So the good thing about duplicating layers this way, so Control J or right click and duplicate layer, is it's going to be in the exact same kind of place or position, so it makes it easier for you when it comes to moving. So oops, science, there you go. So I'm naming it there as well as naming or renaming the text button. Here we go. Oops. Click tick and then you do your final one, which is ICT. Oh, spelt it wrong, sorry. Science. Here we go. And then you do your final one. Okay, so again, one last time, Control J, or if you want to do it the other way, fine. Right click, duplicate layer, call it whatever. This is ICT. Click OK. Move it to the top because that's the kind of pattern I've been using before. And then just call it ICT. Click tick. And then move it along. Here we go. One more thing before I stop this video. I haven't just got the text layer on top of this just because that's a pattern I've been using before. If I move the text layer underneath this layer, it puts it behind it. So the order of the layers can matter a lot if that's the case. It's going to hide your actual text. So just be wary of that. And if you are sure that you've put something on but you can't see it, it might be because it's hiding behind a different layer. Okay.